They're eating the dogs, Ciarnan, in Tuscaloosa.
They're eating the
Do you know
dogs.
that?
They were
They're
eating the dogs.
the dogs.
Oh, a meth raccoon.
Yeah.
Just awful. There is nothing good about this. It's the worst possible scenario for the CFP, for the national championship.
Notre Dame is a mid-program with really good marketing.
And the Michigan players are going to look at that, and anybody who's committing to Michigan in the next years will just go, I want to beat them even more. Like, I wanted to beat them when I first came to this school. Recruits are going to see this.
And we're also sorry that you have to watch a Brian Kelly coach football team. We can only imagine how difficult that must be for you, knowing that you're not going to win a big game ever with him as your coach, and that you're rooting for a child murderer.
This podcast has gone off to a really weird start, but I like it.
I love it, though. I'm a big fan. Ciarnan is back. Ciarnan, welcome back.
We are back. Glad to be back.
Well, I was here last week. We did take a week off,
I am back.
But thank you to Kelsey from Hilo Sports for stopping in. If you missed that episode, go check it out on the Belly Up Sports YouTube. We talk about Hugh Freeze. That's really what sticks out to me because he's an Auburn fan. And we're going to be talking about Auburn a little bit more tonight because, man, the plains are burning. It's a disaster over there in Auburn. But before that, we're going to talk about the breaking news from today. The NCAA, Ciarnan, we've talked about clearing up the transfer windows. We've talked about the transfer portal. To no end, seemingly, we said we got to condense it to one transfer window at a certain point. And the NCAA was listening and said, y'all are a bunch of idiots. We're adding another one. The NCAA has added another transfer window that is starting in about 5 days from now, July 7th to August 5th. For DSAs. A DSA is a designated student athlete. The school has to list them as such. And they are players who are grandfathered into the no roster limits thing, but would be losing their spot to a roster spot, to roster limits. I did not really understand that. But Ciarnan, what are your thoughts on the new one-time transfer window?
It seems like it's yet another bandage over an overwhelmingly problematic topic. So I think it's another case of the NCAA being behind the ball. Like, I get it. I think this is a good thing for certain athletes that need to make a transfer that couldn't or wouldn't or didn't during the previous windows. But ultimately, it's kind of pointless. Like, great if it works, but it's not. It's not stars. It's not stars that are transferring now at this point.
No, and this is where a school will kind of bolster their teams. They'll get an end of the bench guy, a special teamer here or there. But you kind of allude to it. With the NCAA, as always, it's a day late and $1 short. A lot of these issues could have been avoided if they just stopped hiding behind the term student athletes. And the term designated student athletes is hilarious to me, considering for years the NCAA was like, no, they're all student athletes, so we don't have to pay them.
Right.
But it's dumb. We just had to talk about it. I mean, great for those guys and girls, because it's all college, who are going to have to transfer due to roster spots. But I just hate the NCAA.
Yeah, it's their quick. They are each and every day that some decision comes out or something like this. It's another thing that just makes them more and more irrelevant. And at this point, if I'm Charlie Baker, I'm just going, guys, let's just pull the plug on this whole thing. Like, there is no way we're going to be able to keep this up. It's just, it's wild. It's wild to think about. I mean, there's nothing more.
No, it's annoying how behind they've been, and now it looks bad on the NCAA currently, partially because of just how they have been for the past 100 years. But moving on to someone who's not going to be hitting the summer transfer window, Arch Manning is a very controversial quarterback, not because of anything he's doing off the field, not really because of his play on the field, but divisive. Paul Feinbaum have come out and said he's the best quarterback we've seen since Tim Tebow. Steve Spurrier, the legendary coach, said if he's so good, why couldn't he beat out a 7th-round pick? Ciarnan, where do you think expectations should be for the youngest Manning to enter college?
I think expectations should be, let's wait and see. He's proven that he can play in a big game. He's shown certainly, I think, flair, and I think at least at the bare minimum, consistency, which is more than you need to say for, I'd say, about half the college quarterbacks currently. But, with a name like Manning, it does come with a bit of historical baggage with, 2 uncles and things like that being in the NFL. So it definitely does. It definitely hurts because they're looking at that kind of quality and caliber in another person named Manning, which is never the right thing to do. I don't think he's going to be as well. Feinbaum is a little bit dramatic with the as good as Tebow. Tebow was decent. He was fun to watch, certainly, but I wouldn't say he was brilliant. I mean, he only lasted a couple years in the league.
In college, though, Tim Tebow is regarded as maybe the greatest quarterback we've seen.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I think it's I think expectations should just be let's watch and see. Like, he clearly is doing well in practice. He's going to get the starting job, I presume, unless something horrible.
Hopefully,
yeah. But it's just very much wait and see. Just let him play, and you can make your decision after this year, because he only really got truly started last year when he was playing fairly consistently.
Yeah, I think the expectations for the youngest Manning is natty or bust.
Okay.
That's
all right.
Your name's Manning, and look, maybe he got his uncle Eli's genes, which means in playoff big moment games, he's lights out. He's going to be mid the entire time, but if his team gets him there, oh buddy, you're winning that game. Or he's going to be like his other uncle Peyton, and he's going to get his team to these big games and then shit his pants.
Yeah. All right.
Or he's going to be like his father and just mess up his back and never play again. Who knows? But
hopefully it's a little bit of both. It's the regular season consistency of Peyton and the all-star performances all-star, but the postseason performances that Eli have put in, and you get the best of both worlds.
Hopefully not the third one. Hopefully
not the third one. Please excuse the third one.
No, I think I said when he was being recruited, he's a 3-star player with a 5-star name.
Yeah.
I think he has shown that I was wrong a little bit there. I think he was a 4-star player with a 5-star name. But the problem is with that 5-star name comes expectations. And you're with, and I'm not using this sarcastically, you're with the offensive genius that is Steve Sarkisian. You had better pray to God that you are not the reason that the Texas Longhorns are not in the national championship this year.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And I think Texas has the opportunity to do that. But if one thing goes wrong and that's not an injury, if it's an injury, I don't hold that against Arch. But if he's not great, if he comes out flat, if he tails off towards the end of the year, it's going to be a disappointing year for Texas fans. For the Manning family, they might relegate him back to the kids' table at Thanksgiving if they're not firmly in the playoff picture by then.
Yeah.
And also for Arch, I think he'll be disappointed in how the season went. Now, he does have another year, and he is probably going to stay that other year. If reports are to be believed, he wants to kind of use up his eligibility. He's not in a rush to get to the NFL. But, yeah, it's natty or bust for the Manning household.
Well, you have a little bit more leeway with me, Arch. I'm willing to see how things go, but Kev is on the natty train, and you better deliver, because if you don't on this podcast, you'll tear you to shreds.
No, I already have a tweet in my drafts. It's guess which uncle he got his genes from, depending on how he goes in the playoffs.
Yeah.
If he loses badly, we're just slapping a picture of Peyton under there and going about our day.
Yep. Leave the interpretation up to the reader. Good one.
Moving on, though, to another kind of gross orange team. Auburn. Ciarnan, the Plains are burning over there in Auburn, Alabama. They're losing recruits left and right. 4-star wide receiver Denarius Gray has flipped from Auburn to Kentucky.
Wow.
It's never great when Kentucky's beating you up for recruits. They're losing out on a bunch of other, that's the latest one, but a couple other guys have flipped to the usual suspects, Alabama, Georgia, things like that, which is fine. Auburn did steal a quarterback prospect from Penn State. Flazzoni, not sure how to pronounce it. Looks Italian, so we'll go Flazzoni. And Hugh Freeze on a golf course somewhere. He was reported on by AL.com. And then they had to update it because he was playing golf again. And I cannot push the episode last week enough. Check out the episode with Kelsey last week. He went into his view of Hugh Freeze as an Auburn fan. And I understand Hugh Freeze has some health concerns right now. I'm not diminishing that. If his health was the issue here, I would not be suggesting this as a topic. However, he's on a freaking golf course. And I think it's hilarious. He is not going to win in the SEC if he can't recruit. And he seems to not want to recruit. And we've seen this before. Brian Harsin was on a family vacation. They didn't like that he wasn't recruiting, so they leaked the story that he was sleeping with his assistant. Scott Frost in Nebraska, also not recruiting, so he got fired very quickly. And on top of that, Nick Saban takes a picture with some recruits, and their other teams are joking about Alabama needing Nick Saban still. Buddy, if you had an Alabama or a Nick Saban like Alabama does, you'd probably be using them too.
Yeah.
Ciarnan, what are your thoughts on Auburn's disaster of last couple days?
I think it's very much he sees the writing on the walls and he's just kind of going, might as well just let the ship go down. I'll abandon it, do whatever. Coaching career probably over, but I just don't think he cares. There's no inclination that he is going to turn this around, like being on the golf course that time while recruits are leaving. I understand it's technically the off season, but like you're in July, you should be almost fully prepared for next season. And watching guys jump ship is not the way you want to start that season.
Yeah, it's not great. And they didn't put a year, so I'm not sure if it's this year, next year, in a couple years. But UNLV and Toledo are both out recruiting Auburn currently.
That is hilarious. My boys, my UNLV boys.
Dan Mullen, the man, the myth, the legend, is out recruiting the Auburn Tigers, and you love to see it.
I'll tell you who's natty or bust. UNLV, baby. Dan Mullen will keep that ship righted because he's technically taking over a pretty good team from last year.
He'll keep that ship right.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not pretty, and you hate to see it. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Love it.
Yeah, no, you don't.
I love it.
That's great minds think alike there, Kev. It's there's no chance that we weren't going to make fun of this.
Thank God the Iron Bowl is in Tuscaloosa this year, because when it's in Auburn, the weirdest shit happens. Kick 6, 10-second drive from your own 13 to send it to overtime. Jalen Milroe finding Isaiah Bond in the back of the end zone. It's weird all the time. So it's in Tuscaloosa, so I can talk my shit this offseason. Thank God. But As we move to the other side of the country now, we're all over the place right now, Ciarnan. Actually, no, we're not going to go to the Pac-12 yet. We're going to talk about Kentucky. And the biggest story that I don't think a lot of people are talking about, Kentucky's getting rid of all of its athletic programs, Ciarnan. Every single one of them, basketball, soccer, football, baseball, and they're moving them to an LLC. They already have a $100 million loan, I think I read from that. And they feel they already did it with their healthcare system. They feel it allows them a little more flexibility to kind of go into this revenue sharing model, hit the ground running. And I'm excited to see how it goes. I think it was not a long time. I mean, it was inevitable that some school would try this. And I'm glad that it was a school like Kentucky and not one that we have expectations for.
Yeah. I mean, this is a classic case of, and you know, this just harks back to the point I made earlier, that this is another reason why the NCAA should just dissolve itself, because if you can't control schools like doing things like this, then frankly, you're not needed. And the whole point of the NCAA was the fact that it was a student athlete model and that they didn't have to pay. That was the whole impetus behind the NCAA. Now it's just amateur. Well, actually, I can't even say it's amateur because you're
Semi-pro?
technically getting it's semi-pro is what it is. So just call it that, you know, like don't have these the separation of the sports from the school, I actually think is the best way to go about this, because you take the onus off them, like going to school and getting an education, and now they're just getting paid for a sport that they're very good at. Now, do I think that they should still get a degree and graduate in that same time frame? Absolutely, I think they should if they can. But this is just a semi-professional league. People are getting paid. There's no removing your athletic department is basically, oh, I'm playing a sport and going to school part-time like you would a job or an internship or something like that. That's what this is now. And it's, you know, it is what it is.
And I've made the joke for years. Alabama is a football factory that hands out diplomas on the side.
Yeah,
absolutely. And with NIL, we're seeing, because all these schools are paying players. If you think your school wasn't paying players and they were half decent at any point, they were paying players. Yeah. But NIL legitimized that. Mm-hmm. This move is legitimizing the idea that these guys are not there for school. As Cardale Jones said, we're not here to play school.
Yep.
I referenced that quote way too much on the show, but that's what it is. And this gives legitimacy to that claim. It allows these athletic programs to do what they want and what they can to succeed in this modern era of college athletics. And my numbers were a little off. They are getting or approved $141 million loan, which including $110 million in capital investment loans. And a chunk of that, $36 million, will be going to improve Kroger Field. I almost forgot how to talk there.
I think this is equally interesting. Sorry, just to cut you off, but I think this is equally interesting because getting these loans and being able to finance through an LLC means that oil money is going to start playing a real big factor into some of these decisions. So get ready for what's the headdress that they wear? I don't know.
It's not a turban.
No, I
think that's another group.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm not.
You know what I'm talking about. Talking about the Saudis, maybe.
But actually, Ciarnan, Kentucky and any other LLCs are behind the ball in getting oil money because Texas A&M was selling nuclear secrets to Qatar years ago.
to fund their prospects,
their buyout
under the table. Yeah.
No, to fund their buyout of Jimbo, probably.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like college football has broken my priorities because a couple weeks ago, we're like, no, you can't get a corporate sponsor for your conference. That's ridiculous. Yeah. Oh, you're going to make all your athletic programs part of an LLC? Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we are a bit of a hypocrite here on the, on this
College
show.
football has broken me.
We like the idea of paying players. We don't like the idea of institutions needing corporate sponsors as well. I think that's a fair,
it's oil money.
Unless it's oil money. No. I think that's a fair line for us to walk. I think it does separate the two enough to where it's like, okay, we agree that not paying players for this long was a bad thing and that they should share in the revenue being generated by these schools. But at the same time, these schools don't just get to, you're not going to see, the Chick-fil-A Big Ten, right? That would just be an insult to long-standing traditions that don't, like, these schools and these conferences don't need corporate sponsorships. They get the money from the TV deals. They're fine.
Do you think it's crazy that we went from give Reggie Bush his Heisman back to Saudi oil money, baby?
Yeah, it was a very slippery slope that we started off.
And buddy, I went down that like a slip and slide.
Yeah. A 90-degree angle.
Yeah, it's just not great. I don't actually want Saudi oil money into college. I saw what it did to the Prem, and keep it away from my sweet game.
That's so past it. The deals have been in the works for years, I guarantee you. We are 2 years away from seeing oil money here.
I think we're a year.
Okay. I was being generous.
I think we have a year, because I don't think any team will want to deal with, or any school will want to deal with it during the academic school year. So I think by this time next year, someone will be signing a deal with OPEC.
Yeah. Just the whole organization of OPEC.
Yeah. I actually don't even know if OPEC is still really a thing, or
it is
how it works. Someone will be signing a deal with them.
Yes.
It might be a conference. It might be a team, but somebody will be getting oil money.
Here is your OPEC Pac-12 conference lineup this year. Now that's a transition. Hit it, Kev.
Yes, it's the Pac-12 is back.
The Pac-12 not dead. Is back. We are not dead.
Well, they were, but they're back from the dead. They are, of course. Instagram sucks. I had all the teams up, and then Instagram refreshed because they're bastards. Hate you, Mark Zuckerberg. The new Pac-12 is coming in 2026, Ciarnan, and there's some teams on here.
Yes.
I wouldn't say they're good or bad, but they're teams.
They're teams.
Except for one of them. Starting off, obviously, Oregon State, Washington State. That's a given. Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State.
Huge.
San Diego State, Texas State, Utah State, and Gonzaga. I'm pissed at Gonzaga for ruining it.
Yep.
It was the state conference.
Yep. I was going to say the same thing. Yep.
But on Instagram, the Pac-12 did post last 4 seasons in football, 4th best collective winning percentage. That is not a flex. You are second to last in Power 5 above the ACC. 5 of 8 teams ranked in the top 25 for the college football playoffs. That is also second to last, just ahead of the ACC. That is 63% of teams. For comparison, the Big Ten had 14 of 18, which is 78%. The Big 12 had 14 of 16, which is 88%, and same with the SEC. 6 of 8 teams ranked in the AP top 25, which is 75%, which is the worst in all of Power 5. So they are back to where they started, being the worst conference in Power 5, or second to worst, depending on the year. They are marginally better in basketball and more football stats. Sports Source Analytic team success, they are 5th with an average rank of 72. The ACC is 4th with an average rank of 60. Then Big 12, Big 10, both in that 45 to 50 range. SEC in 34. That's the same number twice, or average rating. I don't care about that. Average FPI, they are 5th with 77th. That is a 26-point drop from fourth in the ACC, which is 51. In average SP plus, they are fifth at 72, with the ACC at fourth and 58. So they're back to just not being good.
Yeah. I don't know
like
what they were trying to achieve with that stat line. Congratulations, guys. You are mediocre at best and only look good in comparison to people who don't know statistics.
I think it's a fight to keep Power 5 status.
Oh, certainly.
It has to be. And
there's no other
the crazy
reason.
part is Washington State and Oregon State are the only formerly Power 5 schools in the conference now. And Boise State's doing a lot of heavy lifting for those rankings.
Yeah, seriously.
But no, Pac-12, you're not keeping your Power 5 status. You are a group of 6 school or conference now.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll eventually become Power 5, but I think it's more likely the Conference USA or the American or something takes that 5th spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Than Pac-12.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that they're not like dead, but you certainly didn't come back with all your limbs attached. Let's say that.
It's a classic zombie movie.
Yeah.
They're back, but they're not really back. It's not them.
Right.
But moving on to some more serious news. The Big Ten Commissioner, Petiti, has clarified the conference's stance in the college football playoffs. He says, I want more teams to feel like they're chasing that opportunity to compete for a national championship. Teams can get hot late in the season. The fact they lose a game early shouldn't disqualify them. Talking about the desire for a 16-team playoff with 4 automatic qualifiers to the top 2 conferences, which in this instance, Big Ten, SEC. Karen, what are your thoughts on Petiti's comments?
That they were directed at Penn State. That's 100% what they're like. Yep, Penn State generally loses a really easy game week 3 or 4, and their season's basically over, but they're good enough at the end to make it in. And so that's what I think of those comments. It's an underhanded remark at Penn State. And that's why he wants the automatic bid so bad, so that when Penn State inevitably messes up, that they can still secure a spot without having to, put some money in the palm of the selection committee.
That's fair. Comments like this from the Big Ten Commissioner make me very happy about what Greg Sankey said a while ago about, hey, we're the best conference, so we're going to do what we want. Because this is altruistic, it's ambiguous. We just want all the teams to have a chance and to fight. No, you know that your conference and the SEC are going to get the biggest benefit of the doubt for their team. This is an incredibly self-serving reason to want this expanded playoff. Just say it. Just say, we know that we're one of the best 2 conferences, so we're going to get these spots, so we want more teams of ours in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. You're 100% right. Just stop, stepping around the question. Accept the fact that your conference is the second best conference and will most likely, more than likely, secure spots regardless of if you get guarantees or not. The guarantees are just padding to your already ridiculous stats. Okay. Can Ohio State beat Alabama on a great weekend for them? Yeah, they probably could. Could Michigan 2 years ago without their whole, cheating allegations and scandal? Probably, maybe on a good day, especially at home. But it's these things where it's just like, don't lie to us, because we know that's what we know that the other commissioner, Sankey for the SEC, has said, this is what we're doing. We already know we're the best. We don't need them more. Don't lie and say oh yeah, well, we just want everyone to be involved. We see right through that.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. And Greg Sankey's also made some headlines because he's sort of come out and said, yeah, I don't want the 16-team playoffs with 4 automatic bid qualifiers for us, 4 for them. He's like, 12 teams, just put the 12 best in, which is a break from what we've seen where the SEC and the Big Ten sort of seem to be in lockstep for a while as the 2 big boys on campus. And Big Ten athletic director after this kind of told CBS Sports, we're disappointed but not shocked. I don't know why you're disappointed. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that part?
The disappointed part? No, not really. I think I don't really get why they're disappointed. Like what do you gain from you being disappointed or upset by the comments? Like except
if it was the SEC partnering with like the ACC or the Pac-12 and like they were in agreement on a lot of stuff, that would then give legitimacy to what those, I don't want to say smaller, but less dominant conferences are doing. And then if they switched up, the SEC switched up, yeah, I could get it. But the Big Ten is saying, no, we're the best conference. We have the last 2 national champions. We have the most competitive teams. We are the best conference. Why are you disappointed then by what the SEC does or says? It goes against what the brand you are trying to put out.
Yeah, just be obnoxious about it. You know, it makes for more fun, especially, you know, on a podcast like this and others where it's a debate, you know, like how many head-to-head matchups, you know, all these different things that people can go down rabbit holes for. So just, you know, lean into the fact that you're the second best conference and argue at the very least that you're the first, because it's far better to, you know, to boast and be kind of obnoxious about it initially so that it looks good on the other end.
Be delusional.
Yes, that's what we want here. Be
Delulu, Big Ten.
Feinbaum was right. Arch Manning is the next MT.
Yeah, just be a little Delulu. Just have some fun with it. Like, oh, we don't really care what the SEC says. We're better than them.
Yeah.
And just go from that angle. Saying you're disappointed is, here, I'm sorry to say this, it's giving little bitch energy.
Oh, so yeah, it's giving, I am the little brother and I know it, and I'm gonna go cry to mommy now.
Yeah, it's bad. Speaking of crying to mommy, Ed Orgeron lost a lot of money this week.
There's the transition.
He fumbled bad, kid. Now, I'm going to give everyone some advice here. If you are going to divorce your wife, sign the $17 million contract after divorce is finalized, not 6 weeks before. Because according to the courts, his wife is getting $8.13 million from that little timing snafu on Ed's part. And I just think that a poor decision making like that is why LSU fired him.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's no, I don't know what more to say. That's just a general life lesson.
Yeah, don't go into any marriage planning on getting divorced, but if you are going to get divorced, wait to sign the contract.
Yeah. Your just friendly neighborhood podcast offering you a tidbit of life advice here.
Yeah, it's just tell the school, like, hey, I'm going to sign it. Just give me a little bit.
Yeah.
And then in the proceedings, you go, yeah, no, you can have that. Yeah, you can have that. Yeah, sure. You can have half my 401k or half my savings. You can have the house. That's fine. Whatever. I'm the reason for this. I just want you to be happy. I'm not happy in this marriage, though, blah, blah, blah. And then right when the ink dries, you go over, move your pen over to the $17 million a year contract, and you sign that.
Maybe we might be looking at this the wrong way. Maybe he was just trying to be a really nice dude.
Maybe. But then I feel like it wouldn't have taken 6 years for the courts to rule.
Yeah, that's very true.
You would have just given her the $8 million. Also, it was not $17 million a year. That'd be the highest paid coach ever in college football history, which would be crazy. But yeah, so if you need more life advice on when to sign big contracts, consult a lawyer, because we are certainly not lawyers.
Yeah. This is not legal advice. Please do not take anything Kev and Ciarnan say with any grain of salt.
Yeah. We'd say that with gambling advice too, but especially legal
seriously.
advice. If you take our gambling advice, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
If you take legal advice, you're an idiot, but also then we might be culpable for something.
Yeah. Yeah. We have stressed on this podcast we know nothing, but
yeah. But Ciarnan, moving on to our last go round of teams as drinks.
Yes.
We did take those few weeks off because I didn't want you to miss it, Ciarnan.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I wasn't going to have you do all of them and then miss out on the Independence, the Pac-2. I did not update it for the Pac-12 or the new Pac-12, even though it's the Pac-8 again. Stop putting numbers into your conference name. It is not going to work out.
Yes. SEC works.
SEC works. The ACC used to work before they added California teams and Texas teams.
Yeah. Pac-12, Big 10, Big 12.
It doesn't work.
No.
Doesn't work at all. But, and even some geographic ones aren't going to work for a while. But, you know, Pac-12 should have just rebranded as the Pacific Coast Conference, the PCC.
Yeah, that's so much better. And the Big 12 should just be the Midwest Conference.
I feel like Big 10 and Big 12 would fight for that, though.
Yeah, but Penn State and Maryland, and like all that, they're too far east to be claiming Midwest status.
Well, Maryland should be an ACC school.
Agreed, and so should Rutgers.
Yeah, those are not Big 10 schools.
No,
just bring back the Big East.
There you go.
I think college should just go back to what it was in like 2010. I forget what year I said when I said this last time. But like 2010,
Yeah,
right before
like
that round of realignment. Or like 94 with the Southwest Conference. But at least 2010. That's the dream. Moving on, though, as I started talking about it, the Independents, some Group of Fives, and the Pac-2, as we've dubbed the rest. Ciarnan, what do you want to start with? Group of Fives, Independents, or Pac-2?
Let's go top to bottom, and we'll start with the Independents.
Okay. For those who are curious why Ciarnan said top to bottom, we have a spreadsheet with a bunch of teams.
Yes, sorry.
First up, Notre Dame, Communion Wine.
Oh, that's so much better than the answer I was going to give. Yeah.
Well, I had two. What else were you going to say?
I was going to say something along the lines of just, I don't know, just generic red wine, I guess. I don't know. But your answer was so much better. Yeah.
Or Irish whiskey.
I don't think I want them taking that.
Have they ever been to Ireland? If they're from Boston, yeah. Any other team that roots, any other person that roots for them, probably not. But they will not shut up about the fact that their great-great-great-grandfather's Irish or something like that. But moving on to Yukon. Ciarnan, what is Yukon drink?
Warm milk.
What? Okay. Is there a reason or just cause?
So two things. One, it's part of the cum bowl, kind of works. And two, they should just go to sleep during their college football games because you might as well.
They're back. They were never here. They're better. They're not. They're
better. Yeah, it was a one-trick pony.
It was a two-trick pony, and that first trick was great though. I was gonna say just a gallon of cum, so I was
okay. So mine's a little bit nicer then.
Yeah, no, it is. It 100% is. I said the same thing for Kentucky, but like one of the beer balls that they had was like Miller Lite in it in like the 80s.
Oh yeah,
it looks like a basketball.
Yeah.
Next up, the other half of the cum bowl, UMass just
Regular
anything
milk.
to make them forget.
Yeah.
No, that's not strong enough. Anything to make them forget about Minutemen football.
White Russian. It's vodka in milk. So there you go.
Perfect. All right, let's move on to the Pac 2, Ciarnan, just so we can save the group of fives for last. Oregon State. I can't think of anything.
An insanely hazy IPA. Like way more than it legally should be. And the ABV is about 12.5%. So like you drink two of them and you're floored.
That's fair. Yeah, I think that's probably the best one. I'm seeing a beaver related beer.
You have a beaver related hazy IPA. Just have some random brewery do it.
No, we don't have to have one. There definitely is.
Yeah. Yeah. Speculation is actually truth.
Let's look up Beaver IPA. Belching Beaver Brewery.
There you go.
Not what I'm looking for, but they have a beaver on their can. Oh, they have a lot of beavers on their cans. I need to try this beer now. All their cans have beavers on them, or beaver skulls in some instances. Next up, Washington State, Drew Bledsoe's wine.
So communion wine then.
Yes. No, Drew Bledsoe's a winery in California, and that's what they're drinking. Just letting the Drew Bledsoe speak tonight.
All right, that's a good one actually. I was gonna say I can't think of one, but that's much better.
You could also say anything for Oregon State that you could also say for Washington State. They're the same thing.
Yeah.
I was hanging out with someone from high school. This was years ago at this point. And he was like, Kevin, you want to see something? Like, sure, buddy. He goes into his liquor cabinet and pulls out Wayne Gretzky wine. Like, you don't care about hockey. Why do you have Wayne Gretzky wine?
That is weird.
Because it's Wayne Gretzky wine. I was like, you know what? That's fair enough.
Was it any good?
I didn't try it.
Oh.
I hate
Did he
wine.
even offer you any?
No.
Oh. What the fuck was he showing it for you then?
He wasn't. No, because he knew it was something that I would find hilarious.
Oh.
He wasn't drinking it either. Like, he didn't.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, no. He hit oh, look at this, poured himself a glass, and then put it away. No, he just wanted to show it to me because he knew I'd find it hilarious that A, it existed, and B, he had it.
Fair enough.
Next up, Boise State. Vodka mixed with blue Gatorade with blue food coloring in it.
Okay. All right. I like it. I'm going to go a little bit more simple. I'm just going to go Coors Banquet. I feel like they are very much on brand with a nice, crisp Coors type beer. Simple folk.
That's fair. I was going with the potatoes because it's Idaho, and then blue.
Potato vodka. That makes sense.
And blue. It has to be blue, Ciarnan. But it's not tropical enough for blue carousel.
Yeah.
Next up, Memphis. Just a bottle of barbecue sauce.
Yeah. That's pretty accurate. I can't even think of one better. I have one for Memphis actually. To add on to the barbecue thing, a gallon of pickle juice. I feel like that kind of goes with. I feel like people are weird about it.
Nice little brine.
Yeah, there you
go. Next up, UNLV. Ciarnan, what does UNLV drink?
UNLV drinks not quite moonshine, but the same caliber, but just in rum. I feel like they're rum runners just up in, some godforsaken hellhole in that state that is Nevada. They're just distilling crap from anything that they can find.
That's fair. I was going to go with a copious amounts of narcotics and whatever is left over the next morning.
Yeah. All right.
I was going to list.
What is bootleg rum? Like, what is that?
Bootleg rum?
Yeah, because we have moonshine for whiskey, but Is there a
Oh,
name
okay.
for it?
I thought you were just like, what is? I assume it's.
No, I know what it is. Like I
Yeah,
I can tell you. I was wondering if there was a term that you could use.
No,
If anybody knows, let us know because
I feel like that's just rum. It's pirates.
Yeah.
I mean, moonshine, I feel like it's just unaged whiskey.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I just didn't think about it. Like I was thinking of if there's a name for it or not. But yeah,
That's fair. Next up, Kent State bleach.
okay, all right. I was gonna say Gatorade and cleaning product, but I guess bleach is far more effective there.
Yeah, it gets the job done. You got to forget.
Yeah.
Golden Flashes football. I rooted for them for 1 year, and I want to forget. I think I'm picking a new team, Ciarnan, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Well, I'll get a list together. We'll go over them next week, and we'll let the viewers decide.
There you go.
Or we'll come down to a short list of 4 so I can do a Twitter poll.
Okay.
That's what we'll do. All right. Next up, Tulane.
I got one.
Absinthe. Okay.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah. I was just going to say Mountain Dew Baja Blast.
Ooh, I love a good Baja Blast, though.
Yeah, there you go. We at least stuck with the green theme.
That's true.
No. How about we'll combine the two. Absinthe in Baja Mountain Dew.
I want to try this now.
Oh no. No, that is strictly that is gonna have to be off camera. We didn't make a bet about this. That's on your own terms.
No, this is not the Old Bay Vodka.
Yeah, it's not Old Bay Vodka.
It's completely different. This is my absinthe is legal where I live.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's not legal in some states. Forgot about that.
Yeah, so it has to be Thujon free. I don't know what that means, but it can't have Thujon in it, whatever that is. So I'll try it, Ciarnan. I will report back to you.
Oh, thank you.
I gotta
find where to service to us, brother.
I try. I gotta find out where to get absinthe. Next up, I didn't give one for mine. What's the? I'm trying to think. An apple teeny, nice and green.
For Tulane?
Tulane. I didn't give one for Tulane. No, I did. I said absinthe.
Yeah,
said absinthe.
That's
why we're talking about absinthe.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, an apple teeny works as well.
No, I think I'm going to stick with absinthe for the Louisiana French connection. Liberty, nothing because God frowns on drinking anything.
Yep. I was going to go right down the same route. It was either that or more communion wine.
Nope. No, I think
that.
they're Protestants, and a lot of Protestants do grape juice.
That's so true.
Yeah. So next up, Army. Ciarnan, what does Army football drink?
They drink Bud Heavies. It's regular old Budweiser. And they just destroy 30 racks of them because God, they need it.
That's fair. I'm going to go with liquor in general, but specifically from one of these decanters that is shaped like a rifle.
That's great.
I mean, take your pick, any of them. But
yeah, they're all good.
I think this one, the AR-15 glass decanter with Second Amendment whiskey glasses.
All right, I like it. This must have prompted something. Did you see this prior to us doing the podcast tonight?
Not recently.
Okay. Did someone you know have one?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Just
it is cool though.
Weird shit stays in my brain, Ciarnan. What is
I can tell. It's for different whiskeys, obviously.
True. Shotgun. The Kurt Cobain special.
You put your mouth up to it and it fires a shot into the back of your throat.
Okay, I have a question about this one actually, Ciarnan.
Yeah.
So it's modeled after it's just a lever action. Never mind. I was like, why are there bullets if it's a shotgun? It's a lever action. This one's kind of cool. I know that's like the one up there, but
yeah. And for those listening on the podcast, this is a revolver we're looking at now.
Here's the Kurt Cobain special.
Oh, yeah, that's much better.
Also, if you're listening on the podcast, go check out the YouTube. You miss visual gags like me going through gun-shaped decanters to talk about the U.S. Army. Also, if my interactions with people from the Army are anything to go by, also just whatever's available.
True.
Are you looking something up, or are you good to move on to?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Next up, Toledo, the Rockets. Okay, what do the Rockets drink?
A Rocket Pup cocktail, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You remember those little Rocket Pops that you got as a kid? You just kind of melt it down, make it into a slushie, pour your liquor of choice on it, or beer if you want to be weird, and there you go.
Fair. I was going to go with like the 95% Everclear because that's the closest to rocket fuel we got.
Yeah, there you go. And kerosene.
They're the Rockets. But they don't have expectations, so they're not depressed.
Yeah.
About being mid. Next up, App State. Okay, what does App State drink?
I'm gonna have to go back to the moonshine. Good old corn.
A lot of these are moonshine.
Yeah, it's too many.
Moonshine, but from a man who has not shaved since the first Bush administration and smells like he hasn't showered since the Reagan administration.
I'm pretty sure that's the going thought behind moonshine. I don't think.
Well, but this one specifically.
Yeah, I guess, but like you're gonna find a lot of that.
Yeah, it's App State. You're gonna find a lot of that, even if you're not drinking moonshine.
I'll give you a better one. Here's one. A revolver, and we're kind of hearkening back to the
Army.
The Army and the gun decanters. I couldn't think of the word decanter. But a revolver, because you don't always want a revolver, but every now and again it sneaks up on you, and it's quite good. So revolver is just a Kahlua and vodka. I think that's all it is. Just Kahlua, coffee liqueur, and vodka, or whiskey, maybe.
They're talking about an actual revolver.
No, not an actual revolver. We've been doing drinks for most of this. Some of the times we get meth, but other than that, I'm not talking about a legitimate revolver.
Okay, I 100% could have said a gun for a lot of these, actually.
No.
All right, that's fair. We're doing drinks, and also just drugs, not things to put in your mouth.
Kurt Cobain.
Next up, Coastal Carolina. Kurt Cobain, POV. Next up, Coastal Carolina, Ciarnan. What do Coastal Carolina fans drink?
I feel like any sort of Malibu cocktail. Any sort of like what are they called? Mojitos, I guess? No, not mojitos. What are rum drinks? Yeah. The Malibu.
Mojito is a rum drink. Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. So yeah, mojitos.
But you're not going to make it with Malibu, most likely. You're just going to make it with rum. But no, that's fair. Mojito works, though. You can make it more tropical. You can put fruit and stuff in it.
There you go.
Coastal Carolina, I feel like there's two kind of ways to do it. You either have like expensive wines and whiskeys from the tourists and the Gulf people that you've never heard of, and then like heroin.
Oh, could have been so many things. I'm glad it was just drugs.
What else could it have been?
I thought you were going to go like fruity cocktails or something like that. Like, straight pours of whiskey versus fruity cocktails. No, you just went, screw it. We're just going to mix in some drugs into this.
That's fair. I'm sure there's other things about Coastal Carolina we could do, but But it doesn't matter, Kieran, because whatever you're drinking, it's cheap as hell because Coastal Carolina is getting rid of concession stand prices in their stadium, and I love them for it. Next up, Kieran, our final school for this whole thing, Western Kentucky. What does Western Kentucky drink?
Anything red related, purely based on the mascot.
I was going to say like Fireball or something.
Oh, just Fireball. Yeah, that's a good one.
It tastes like big red gum.
Yep, there you go. That's perfect. Yeah, I guarantee you that mascot has like a pack on his back that's just filled with Fireball. You can't see him obviously drinking. He's got like 2 straws or something in his outfit.
Yeah, that would probably get me through a game day too.
Oh,
but
easily.
I feel like also though prerequisite bourbon. It is.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But we went outside the box on that one, Kieran, and I am proud of us.
Go us.
Go us. We're doing great. Shit, I have to start thinking about other topics now. I have not been doing that for these last couple weeks. Well, it's like cool. I could turn off my brain for a while.
We're getting into the season, so hopefully there's more news. And there is other news, but like we keep these things to at least an hour.
Yeah, that's true. But we're gonna check on the race to Old Bay Vodka, Kieran.
Oh, right.
We're gonna see how the fans are doing to get us absolutely trashed. They're not doing great, Kieran.
Oh, come on, guys.
They started hot, but we are only at, got to do math here, which hurts, 186.
You might be safe, Kev. You might be safe.
We might be safe. You agreed to do it too.
Yeah, but I don't mind.
But also that is with us taking a week off.
True.
So who knows, Kieran? Maybe they'll pick it back up. If you want to see us create content while we are very far apart during week 0, getting trash can, we would have to do at least one StreamYard call for this.
Yeah.
Not a live stream. I'm not doing it live. Maybe do it live.
That's fine. We'll work it out.
We'll figure it out. But if you want to see that, go to Belly Up Sports on YouTube. Check out Tailgate in the Quad or some other shows too. But watch Tailgate in the Quad. Get us to the 750 goal. So we have to drink an entire bottle of Old Bay vodka and hopefully not get our stomach pumped. But Kieran, also, it's 4th of July weekend.
Oh, yeah, of course. I completely forgot.
I also forgot until, I knew that tomorrow was my last day at work this week,
yeah,
but I forgot during this show. Are you doing anything fun?
Father-in-law's birthday. It's kind of same time, so we're going to do that. Then I'm going to eat an inordinate amount of food and light off fireworks in a basketball court. I will keep my fingers. I promise.
I was going to say, kid, tomorrow is a large number of Americans' last day with 10 fingers, and they don't even know it.
Yep. I'm not an idiot. I'm not taking those like M80s or whatever. I'm just taking, Roman candles and a few small poppers or whatever.
That's fair. Well, I'm getting blackout on a boat, so.
Oh, dude, that's dope.
That's the plan. I don't have to be responsible this year.
Let's go. That's huge. Especially on a holiday and you're like, oh, I'm not driving, not going anywhere. I'm out of here. Yeah.
So, but also if I look like you next week with bright red skin, it means I ignored my wife's pleas to put on sunscreen. And she's like, you know what? If you want to be an idiot, go for it.
Yeah. We might not have a podcast next week as Kevin will still be recovering.
I got to go to work Monday. So,
it doesn't mean you're going to be functioning.
Kieran, if you lose a finger, can we make it content?
Go on.
Yes. I expect a screen recorded FaceTime call from the hospital so we can post it.
Oh God. That's
I will do the same. I will do the same thing.
All right. Do not, for all listeners, podcast, on the podcast or on YouTube, do not be stupid. You can get drunk, but do not be stupid. Come on, guys.
If you're drinking, don't handle the fireworks.
Yes.
I think that's a pretty fair rule. Everyone have a good, safe, fun. I probably should have put the emphasis on safe, given our recent conversation about it. But have a good, safe, fun 4th of July weekend. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Actually, don't do anything Ciarnan wouldn't do.
That's
He's
a better
probably
one.
safer than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad one. But yeah, so go America. Woo! They're eating the dogs, Ciarnan, in Tuscaloosa.
They're eating the
Do you know
dogs.
that?
They were
They're
eating the dog.
the dogs.
Oh, a meth raccoon.
Yeah.
Just awful. There is nothing good about this. It's the worst possible scenario for the CFP, for the national championship.
Notre Dame is a mid-program with really good marketing.
And the Michigan players are going to look at that, and anybody who's committing to Michigan in the next years will just go, I want to beat them even more. Like, I wanted to beat them when I first came to the school. Recruits are going to see this.
And we're also sorry that you have to watch a Brian Kelly coach football team. We can only imagine how difficult that must be for you, knowing that you're not going to win a big game ever with him as your coach, and that you're rooting for a child murderer.
This podcast has gone off to a really weird start, but I like it.
I love it, though. I'm a big fan.